Hello, you're watching AnewZ Morning from Baku. I'm Bakhtiar Hasanov, and let's see the headlines. The United Nations Security Council underscores the dire toll of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine.
The latest
Kazakh President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev describes Russian President Vladimir Putin's state visit as historic event. Turkey sets ambitious goal for carbon-neutral economy within 30 years, Energy Minister says. The United Nations Security Council underscored the toll of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. In their latest gathering, they continue to call for an end to what they say is the dangerous cycle of escalation.
Concerns were raised at the United Nations Security Council about the escalation with the war in Ukraine. There are worries about the deployment of North Korean troops into the country. According to the United States representative, North Korea has deployed more than 10,000 troops, thousands of munitions containers and advanced weaponry into Russia. They also have concerns about the type of missile used to strike Dnipro. They say that Russia used a ballistic intermediate-range missile equipped with 6 warheads, each carrying 6 submunitions.
The location hit was reportedly an industrial area southwest of Dnipro city. According to the Ukrainian authorities, the missile was equipped with 6 warheads, each with 6 submunitions, and took only 15 minutes to arrive from the launch site in the Astrakhan region of the Russian Federation, some 1,000 kilometers away from Dnipro city.
Russia's representative dismissed all the accusations during the meeting. Moscow accuses Ukraine of trying to provoke NATO into the war.
The bankrupt Zelensky regime needs at any cost to drag NATO countries into a direct conflict with Russia in a battlefield. At any other scenario, he would be facing an irreversible and humiliating defeat that has demonstrated in the failed Kursk escapade of the Ukrainian head honcho, and the clear collapse of the front in Donbass that is being pointed out by all military experts.
Ukraine's envoy condemned the growing Russia-North Korea military alliance, warning of its implications for global security and calling for together sanctions and increased military aid.
We reiterate that Pyongyang support comes at a price, and this is an access to Russian technology in missile, nuclear and other military programs. It is crucial to understand that this price is paid not so much by Russia, but by the world.
North Korea's ambassador defended Moscow's actions, claiming they were acts of self-defense, while dismissing accusations of criminal collaboration.
Nordic and Baltic states, along with Poland, have pledged to intensify their support for Ukraine. The leaders made a vow at a meeting in Sweden on Wednesday. Their focus will be on defense production, ammunition supplies, and strengthening energy infrastructure. So far, aid from the Nordics, Baltics, and Poland totals around 24 billion euros. Several of these countries share a border with Russia and are among Ukraine's biggest supporters.
Our nations are already the largest per capita contributors of military assistance to Ukraine. We will enhance our efforts, including to defense industrial production in Ukraine, and invest to increase Ukraine's ammunition supplies. We strengthen Ukraine's energy infrastructure to help them through the winter, and we support them on their path to EU and to NATO.
Warn everyone against the illusion that agreeing to Russian conditions of a ceasefire, such as neutral Ukraine, demilitarized, accepting the hitherto annexation of Ukrainian territory, would stabilize the situation in the whole region and prevent us from the threat of World War III. Quite the opposite. Our capitulation or lack of support for Ukraine, this is the obvious way deepen the crisis and threat and risk for all of us.
We have agreed today to step up, to scale up and to speed up, to invest directly into the Ukraine's defense industry and to give them what is needed. And this is necessary because we have to understand, even though it's difficult for us Europeans to understand it, that Russia do not want peace. And if we want a free Europe, we have to give Ukraine what they need and what is needed now on the battlefield.
The Lebanese army has sent troops to southern Lebanon on Wednesday. It's part of a U.S.-brokered ceasefire with Hezbollah aimed at de-escalating tensions. This ceasefire is also backed by the United Nations and France and requires Israeli forces to withdraw from southern Lebanon. And Hezbollah must move its fighters north of the Litani River. UN peacekeepers will assist in monitoring the situation, and an international panel led by the United States will ensure compliance. The Lebanese army will take a more active role, deploying troops to assert control in the south. The agreement includes a gradual 60-day Israeli withdrawal, with the pace of the pullback and the return of Lebanese civilians dependent on the successful implementation of the ceasefire terms. Mexico warns that the United States President-elect Donald Trump's tariff increase would kill 400,000 U.S. jobs. The economy minister, Marcelo Ebrard, also warns that they will retaliate.
Mexico says that the proposed tariffs of 25% for import goods by U.S. President-elect Donald Trump would severely impact U.S. jobs, raise consumer prices, and disrupt key industries. As well as affecting U.S. companies, the move will impact other countries such as Canada and China. Now Mexico warns they could retaliate. Mexican economy minister says the impact of such a hike in tariffs will be huge.
If we impose a 25% tax on the companies I have already described, though there are many others, this could affect 400,000 jobs in the United States. That is the estimated impact.
In Canada, the federal government and provincial leaders have united in opposition to Trump's proposed tariffs. Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland says Canada would respond in a coordinated manner.
We need to work in a united and coordinated way. We agreed that we need to be smart, strong, and united in meeting this challenge. We spoke principally about the border and the Canada-U.S. trade relationship.
Meanwhile, with China, Trump proposes a 10% tariff on Chinese products. He argues that the tariffs are essential to combat illegal immigration and drug trafficking, despite border apprehensions reaching 4-year lows. China's state media has praised U.S. companies like Apple and Tesla for strong collaboration with Chinese partners as Trump moves forward with his tariff plans. The Chinese embassy official warned that no one will win a trade war.
Look, I'm representing the U.S.
Ford's planned job cuts in Germany provoked anger and tears at a staff meeting in Cologne. The United States carmaker plans to cut 4,000 jobs in Europe, including about 2,900 in Germany. Ford announced their cuts in Germany last week. It stated that it would eliminate the most jobs in Europe's largest economy due to the country's high energy costs and unstable political environment. This puts the automaker at a disadvantage compared to its rivals.
Our future is not looking good. All of a sudden, after we were assured the plan would stay until 2032. Now we are in shock. I'm not sure about the future. It's not looking good for us.
We have no information. It's a negative feeling and I don't feel good, but ultimately we will have to wait and see.
Violence broke out in Belgrade as pro-government and anti-government protesters clashed in the streets. The unrest followed public outrage over the tragic collapse of an awning at a railway station earlier in the month, killing 15 people.
The protest was organised by opposition groups in response to a concrete canopy at a railway station. It collapsed suddenly onto people sitting and standing below on the 1st of November. The protesters are accusing the government of alleged corruption that resulted in shoddy construction. The ruling coalition denies these accusations. Opposition lawmakers say the demonstration was disrupted when supporters of the ruling party intervened.
They started kicking us, breaking through the blockade with the intention of silencing us. It was very tense. Some of us were struck and we called the police, but they didn't arrive until half an hour later. Now you're witnessing what happened.
However, the ruling coalition accuses the opposition of triggering the violence. President Alexander Vučić has insisted that those responsible for the roof collapsing must face the consequences. A Serbian higher court released former minister Goran Vecic yesterday. He'd been detained last Thursday in connection with the roof collapse. The opposition demands the resignation of Prime Minister Milos Vučević.
Russian President Vladimir Putin's state visit to Kazakhstan is a historic event. Kazakh President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev said this at talks with his Russian counterpart. President Tokayev thanked Russian President Putin for visiting Kazakhstan and called Russia his country's strategic partner and reliable ally. He described their relationship as meaningful and future-oriented. A joint statement adopted between the two presidents says that Putin invited Tokayev to pay a return visit to Russia next year. In the framework of his state visit, the Russian president will take part in the CSTO summit in Astana. Azerbaijan remains committed to the global climate efforts after holding the UN's climate conference COP29 here in Baku. We spoke exclusively with COP29 lead negotiator Yalchin Refiev to find out what's next for climate action.
The COP29 summit ended last weekend with an agreement that nations will raise $300 billion towards vulnerable countries affected by climate change. The next United Nations conference is in Brazil. Azerbaijan's lead negotiator, Yalchin Refiev, says it's now important for Baku to keep up the momentum.
We have just started our presidency. It means for the next 1 year period, we will work hard to continue our presidency, to come up with new ideas, to help the Brazilian presidency build their own outcomes, the package. Also, as part of Troika, we will need to work closely with UAE and Brazil. We maintain the legacy of Baku. We need to strengthen it. We need to promote it, because Baku was one of the historical COPs ever, because of its outcomes, because of the level of attendance, because of many important pledges and promises made by certain countries, and because of many innovations. And we need to keep in the next few years at least.
As COP29 concluded, some countries, including India, Bolivia and Cuba, voiced concerns over the outcome. Yalchin Refiev explains the different positions these countries took and what steps will be needed to continue dialogue and collaboration moving forward.
Saying that India was, of course, trying to block the whole decision, but they came to us, asked for a floor in the statement, but didn't mention when, even if it is before the adoption or after. And we, after the adoption, we gave them a floor and they expressed their view. When it comes to Bolivia, Bolivia was not against the decision, was not blocking it, just expressed solidarity with India's those positions that the figure is low, that the developed countries should do more, and Cuba as well. So their dissatisfaction was not about the decision, but about the approach by the developed countries.
Looking ahead to next year's UN Climate Change Conference at the port city of Bulai, Refiev has a key message for the upcoming Brazilian presidency.
Do not bring the geopolitical divides into the negotiation process. Because if you bring these geopolitical divides, you end up in a situation where, even though this is something that affects humanity, you cannot act impartially. Like those issues that you have been experiencing in other parts, in other areas of geopolitics, you have been observing also here.
Brazil's COP30 will be between the 10th and the 21st of November.
Turkey has set its sights on becoming a carbon-neutral economy within 30 years, a target that Energy Minister Alparslan Bayraktar acknowledged at the 6th Turkish-German Energy Forum in Berlin as transformative for the country's economy. The forum, co-hosted with German Economic Affairs and Climate Action Minister Robert Habeck, provided a platform for Turkey to outline its ambitious plans for renewable energy. Turkish Energy Minister Alparslan Bayraktar announced a roadmap to attract $100 billion in renewable energy investments by 2035, urging German investors to participate in the energy transition.
And we already started to implement a very ambitious renewable program that we announced right before COP29, that we are going to quadruple our renewable capacity only on solar and wind, and we will move from 31 gigawatt today to 120 gigawatt by the year 2035. Of course, we need some certain things that we need to improve our investment-friendly environment. We need to attract capital, especially foreign finance and foreign investment, and especially German companies have a lot of experiences in Turkey, and also some newcomers more than welcome to invest in Turkish energy market, that through this close cooperation and collaboration, we believe that this is a very achievable target and it will help us to reduce our emissions.
Air pollution caused by landscape fires is responsible for over 1.5 million deaths each year, the majority of which occur in developing nations, a new study published in The Lancet reveals. The findings underscore the deadly consequences of the fire-related air pollution, with the death toll expected to rise as climate change leads to more frequent and severe wildfires. The study, conducted by an international team of researchers, examined data on landscape fires, which include both wildfires and planned agricultural burns. According to the researchers, between 2000 and 2019, approximately 450,000 deaths annually were linked to heart disease caused by fire-related air pollution. Another 220,000 deaths were attributed to respiratory illnesses due to the smoke and particulate matter released into the atmosphere. Overall, the study found that 1.5 million deaths worldwide were linked to air pollution from landscape fires. The vast majority of these deaths, more than 90%, occurred in low- and middle-income countries. Sub-Saharan Africa alone accounted for nearly 40% of the deaths, with countries such as China, the Democratic Republic of Congo, India, Indonesia, and Nigeria bearing the heaviest tolls. The findings come just days after the conclusion of UN climate talks in Azerbaijan, where delegates agreed to increase climate funding. Thanksgiving came a day early for the homeless in downtown Los Angeles Skid Row on Wednesday. The Los Angeles mission served up turkey and all the trimmings, and they did it with the help of a few well-known faces.
The Los Angeles mission, located in the heart of Skid Row, provides food, clothing and care for those in need. A team of volunteers served an impressive 4,000 meals, offering support and compassion to the community during the holiday season. Eric Grant, the mission's executive chef, who was once homeless himself, shared the monumental task of preparing the feast.
Yeah, so the expectancy is between 1,500 and 4,000. So I've prepared 180 gallons of gravy, 3,600 pounds of turkey, 1,000 pounds of macaroni, 1,000 pounds of collard greens, and 1,000 pounds of stuffing.
Well-known faces were either serving the homeless or dishing out the food to give to the servers.
It's fills your heart, both with happiness of we're going to make people's lives a teeny bit brighter today, but also reminds you of how many people are in need. And you can see it here on the streets. It's heartbreaking.
It's just important, I really feel like. Thanksgiving is such a beautiful holiday, and so many people, have the privilege of being able to celebrate it with their friends and family and have a great meal on the table. Not everyone is so lucky, and I feel like it only takes a couple of hours to volunteer your time and be able to really give back to those that deserve it, because we all deserve to have an incredible holiday season.
What a lot of people don't say is that when you are giving, you get so much more back. It's almost a selfish act to try to help people, because it really is a wonderful thing to be around those that care about human beings, and in this time right now, it's really wonderful to be around like-minded individuals that really want to help.
Giving food to someone and seeing a smile on their face is always something that makes you feel like you're making a difference. Even if it's small, it's still a difference, and together as a community, everyone over here is actually making a massive difference in our community in Los Angeles.
This is something special that I will never, ever forget. I will be here every year because the people who are being fed here are people who are so appreciative for everything that the mission is doing. They will have a happy Thanksgiving. The families will be here with their children, and I feel very good serving them and saying happy Thanksgiving to them.
As the holiday season continues in America, the Los Angeles mission's efforts show that even small acts of kindness can make a lasting impact, bringing joy and hope to many in need.
A team of kayakers has completed the first ever descent down the Ivindo River in Gabon, in Africa. They say it marks an historic moment in the world of adventure sports.
Travelling through Africa's rainforest, the four-man team paddled down fast-flowing rapids and waterfalls. Together they completed the 145-kilometre journey. The team used cutting-edge drone technology to document their trip, capturing breathtaking footage of the remote waterfalls and rapids from multiple angles. This allowed them to share the stunning landscape from perspectives never seen before. Their incredible adventure will soon be featured in a film titled Gabon Uncharted, Sending Ivindo Falls. The film offers viewers an up-close look at one of the most untouched and wild regions on the planet.
That's all we have for this hour. You can also get the latest news and headlines around the clock on our website, that is AnewZ.tv. Thank you for watching, and also we wish you a good day ahead.